So hello, my dragon family. It's Thursday, so here I am, Araya Anra, sometimes known as the Dragon Lady in most of my circles. I am a energy healer first and foremost, and psychic medium, and I use those skills to help people get clarity, help people move forward, and help people access their dragon self and waken up to what that means and all of that entails. So I like to come on live every Thursday, sometime between 2 and 3 o'clock. So here we are. I love when you have questions. Let's see who's with me. I'm seeing Melody Faye. Hey, sweet lady. And Tracy Stewart and a couple others. So good to see you guys. If you have questions, feel free to type them in. Otherwise, I just get to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I've been talking about dragons for hours today already. We had the book club and we had some amazing topics come up. I just love that group. It is powerful, and the meditations are powerful, and the people that are in it this round are astounding me, actually, with the experiences they're having. So that's one of the things I thought, well, if nobody has questions or topics they want to bring up, then hey, Teresa, I'm going to start just with sharing something that I like. Heck yes, I appreciate you and all that you do for us. Thank you, Melody. Good to see you. And Teresa, how is that work with your dragon going? Did you get some of those stones? How's your back pain? Fill us in. And hello, Pauline. So I brought up to the Hi, Nikki. I brought up to the top of the discussion board today by making a comment on it. The Skywatch Media News video that was posted 6 to 8 weeks ago. And I brought it up because we had a discussion start in Book Club today that I thought was pretty interesting, and I wanted to throw it out there and see how many of you, either on live call or hi, Londa, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope your trip to Israel was fabulous. If there's others experiencing or did experience this happened yesterday for someone in my group. And what's interesting is that it directly connected into what they were talking about on the Skywatch Media News. So first I'll share her experience and what was happening for her. She had this energetic experience, and she's a healer, so she's very aware energetically, but she doesn't usually see things. And she very clearly saw this, what looked like a globe or a small planet, slightly smaller than the Earth, but bigger than the core of the Earth, that was reflective in nature. It was silverish, reflective, almost like mirrors. And when I said, was it actually more crystalline? She said, yes, it was just like crystals reflecting. And she experienced this energy coming down. It felt very sublime. It felt like a very strong feminine energy, a very divine, high frequency. And she just didn't know. Oh, awesome, Tracy, thank you. She didn't know really what it was because she doesn't usually see things. And so she just felt this huge experience. She felt very calmed by it. She felt a lot of healing from it. And she just described what was happening for her as this thing sort of descended. And she just felt like it was like a new planet or something. And I know there are some schools of thought out there about the new Earth and how we're going to shift to that and what that's going to look like. Honestly, I don't have many pieces to that, but what came to me as she was talking, because I work with the dragons, and the Earth as it is in 3D has this crystalline core with this heart of fire and this center matrix piece, right? That everything that in this time and space continuum was birthed through. And that's why we all have this crystalline core to pass back through, and why we all have a Hara womb dragon that's connected, that every human has, even if they don't ever consciously know about dragons. It's just part of the structure. So anyway, she was experiencing this, and as she was talking about it, I felt very clearly this resonance with it being connected to the crystalline core of the planet. And so my question is out to everyone who watches this, who's either on now or watching the replay later. If yesterday on, let's see, it would have been Wednesday, May 30th, if you had any type of energetic hygiene experience with something like a sphere, crystalline in nature, or silver or reflective, felt like a globe or a planet, but not quite as big as the Earth, what your experiences were with that. I'd love to see that in the comment field. If anybody had anything like that in their meditations, their experiences, even in the last couple of days, because sometimes when these things happen, they happen over a series of days for people as the frequencies are coming in. And so I brought the Skywatch Media News thing up in case you missed it the first time it came around. So it's the post right below this one in the discussion group, in the group. And it was about this crack in the Earth's magnetic field. That there was this crack that has happened. It's like scientifically measured and proven. These guys have all this stuff going on to know that. And how then they were talking about all these different things happening with the core actually expanding and it affecting all these rifts being created. Hi, Christina. All these different things happening because there's rifts opening up around the globe. So if you haven't seen me talk about this before, or you haven't seen these posts, there was a big one in Kenya in what's called the Rift Valley, which sits right around the heart of the female black dragon who holds that plate in place. Saudi Arabia, Peru, there were like 54 cracks in one place in Peru. New Zealand having major ones, and there's actually being a rift created like 2 meters high. That's 6 feet for us in the States. Literally like just right there, like this wall gets created in less than a minute. And this guy's house that happened to be sitting on that poor place to build is actually like now teetered with half of it being 6 feet higher than the other. And, I hope insurance covers that. But where else there's been in Wyoming, this rift happened with the earthquakes in Kilauea volcano, which has created the eruptions. There's excessive geyser activity happening in Yellowstone that they're watching. Iceland, I think, Antarctic. There's these great rifts happening everywhere. And to me, that expresses and just sort of verifies or validates this concept of the core expanding. So if the core is expanding, the surface would expand too. It would have to fit, right? Anyway, so I see the correlation, I see the connection, and awesome. Wonderful, Teresa. Thanks for checking in with me on that. I'm going to read the full comment later. So this crystalline globe experience that she had, immediately in everything in my body was not only tingling as she talked about it, but I saw the correlation between this being like the fifth dimensional or above representation of the crystalline core of our planet that right now is more 3D in nature. But as we move forward and more energies start to come in, and I know that the event has been talked about that started March 19th, with all this rainbow energy starting to be perceived in the sky, right? Then rainbow dragons and higher frequencies and people that aren't even aware of a spiritual path, of dragons, of metaphysics or anything. It's on the news. Like the one that was over Phoenix, even the one in Utah, they've been broadcast far and wide because people are seeing them everywhere. And anyway, so this expression coming through seemed to me to match a higher frequency coming in that is going to come in and integrate into the planet. So as we are working with the dragons, the whole point of the book is to help us move through and release densities in our body, to know which dragons to call on to help us do that and move through the spaces of our humanity, of our humanness, as we are trying to descend our light bodies and move into a higher vibration of our expression of ourselves. And so as we do that, if we're ready to move into like this new earth that many circles talk about, which is fifth dimension and beyond, then the planet also is going to be going through that. Now, is there actually a new earth that's separate from this one that some people are experiencing that in meditative states? I have not. It might be happening in my dream state, but I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I don't think our human minds can understand the higher technologies or physics laws of what that bridge will look like. But when she talked about this coming down, I just immediately saw that this was that piece of Gaia's fifth dimensional body coming in, anchoring in, because those crystalline grids, I've actually started doing crystalline grid activations again with my Dragonheart group. They were ready for that, and that's the first time I've done it in years because people have not been ready they've received it, but they haven't been able to anchor it and maintain it. And that is 15 physical points in the physical body where your light body, as it comes in, as you start to be able to carry higher frequencies, can actually anchor in and stay with you. And so I stopped doing it for years, and it just has come up recently, and it feels very significantly timed that Gaia would also be ready, that the Earth would also be ready for that to start happening, that a crystalline core would come in and start anchoring to the next dimensional level within her. So as I said, I would love to hear from you guys if you've had anything like this happening in your meditations in the last few days, especially yesterday when this happened for her. And then to take it further, what are we doing? What's the goal with these dragon energies, with the crystalline energies? Because essentially for me, the work with the dragons is to connect to my highest self and to connect to my dragon self, because I know that I'm an embodier of dragon energy. I am a dragon, first and foremost. And that to me means that I need to bring my human self into the frequency vibration to resonate and be able to merge with my dragon self fully. That I can experience both, but it's almost like they're separate. Parts have merged, but until I release all of the dense aspects of my 3D human self, I can't actually fully merge with that. But I'm seeing how pieces are starting to happen. And I feel like as I'm working with that with people, Londa connections to, yeah, we might have to get the playback. Sorry, Londa. But at least we recorded. That's the great thing about this. So moving into that, in slowly getting more and more people are ready for that, and that starts to happen. Everything is about the microcosm, macrocosm. As we do it on the small scale, it's happening on the bigger scale. And even bigger than that, I feel like it's happening on a grander scale, universally, with this universe potentially being the core center of something much bigger. And also even within ourselves, there's microverses within ourselves, within our cells, where these things are happening, where that crystalline core is activating within each of our cells, which is its own universe. And so the whole point of working with the dragons is to reintroduce you to those energies, to help clear the densities, to take you into that space where as you connect with all the dragons and all that they bring, and all the dragons from even the outer star systems of Orion and the Pleiades and Sirius and beyond, that they have gifts to help us remember and recall those energies within ourselves, that we can actually go forward and start to integrate that as we work with higher and higher octaves. And that as we do so, that's where we start bridging and getting to connect with our own dragon and really anchor and keep that connection fully in place all the time. And that's where I see our gift to humanity. That's where I see the service coming, where we can live fully in that and be able to hold that space on the planet, to be, many of us feel we're bridges, to be that space to hold it while the rest of humanity gets their piece. Or, higher frequencies coming in, there's got to be a conduit. And many of us become those conduits, especially those that are in healing aptitudes. So just wanted to bring up that today, especially to get that question out about anyone else experiencing that. And I think that's mainly what I wanted to share. I had an amazing time, and I do, as a dragon, I have to admit, I love my chocolate. Dragons love chocolate. And I also I do drink decaf, but I love the flavor and taste of a decaf periodically. And I felt called to have one today after my book club. Sometimes I find that it fires up some part of my body that's feeling a little bit drained. And let's see, Melody, I've been feeling huge shifts, especially in the last few weeks, and a lot of what you're sharing deeply resonates with me and the world I'm witnessing lately. I've also been surrounded by rainbows, especially in the last week, that have been superbly profound and significant. I didn't know if it was because I was in Maui the last week, which feels like it's the land of rainbows, or maybe I was there to experience it and be there during the rainbow energy downloads you're talking about. Yeah, there is. I agree, Melody. We're in a really special time right now. And I don't know how long this transition will last. We could be just here for a part of it. It could take 2 years. It could take 200. It could take 2,000. I feel like it's on a faster track than maybe the longer end of the spectrum. But there's a lot of excitement happening. And there's so much activity happening in the skies. There's something really major happening with all the energies being present in the skies. And I've never seen myself even so much dragon energy in the clouds and in the skies or being posted. I'm seeing and receiving pictures from all over the globe on a continual basis, like more than weekly, like every day or every couple of days, somebody else is capturing more dragons in the sky. And so I know that things are stepping up. I feel like energies are amping up, and that we're really in an exciting time. And I don't know, all the pieces to know how long that's going to extend out or what that looks like, but I do know that it's significant and that we're all being called to really step into our highest peace, our highest vibration of what we bring, because we're all here for a purpose. Each one of us has a different purpose, and many, yes, feel like they're a bridge. Many feel like they're just here to hold space. Many feel that they are not sure. Like some people are still trying to get to their purpose, but they're feeling really angst about it right now of connecting to that and being called and drawn like, what am I really doing here? What is this all about? And I know many people express to me, and I've felt it myself, that when they start to connect to something that's drawing them forward into their spiritual awakening and their spiritual journey, and maybe that's dragons, maybe that's angels, whatever it is for that individual, it's this deep, deep like compulsion forward. But at the same time, as they open that, there's like this almost desire to give up, like finding the what's the point? What is the point of all this? And I think we get to a frustration level of that question of what's the point, which drives us forward to see the point, to really define and hone our purpose and get clear what it is and be on fire and be really in our gift of what we're here to bring. So anyway, that's my tidbit for today. I never know what I'm going to share, and I love that, you know, the dragons want to speak through and inspired me with that. So I hope it touched you. If you have questions, please feel free. I am here, and we could actually stay on for a few more minutes. I can't see what time it is, but even if I can't answer it today, I love questions in the group, and I quite often take them to use them for lives the next week and try and message you beforehand if it was your question so that you know it or tag you in it. So yes, programs and session work do happen with me. If you're curious about work together, I do discovery calls. What happened to my hand? You guys really want to know? I got bit by my cat. I followed my heart instinct. A dog, Fred, I posted on my timeline recently. Dear Fred came to us unexpectedly. I did a live in the Invoke Healing page last week about it, or maybe it was the week before, that about animals coming back into our lives again, how they can reincarnate and come back to the same owner, and situations and synchronicities happened to align that and show me, and everything lined up so clearly, and even like getting a heart hit at the Humane Society. Wow, I think that's Sadie coming back, and then feeling an impulse as I left the building. I think I'm supposed to go back and get that dog if it doesn't get adopted today, because it's one of those really cute ones, you know, that it's been there 3 days, it's going to be adopted like immediately. And sure enough, he got adopted that day, but knowing there was something in me that knew that's my dog. And 2 weeks later, I go to get my other dog's second shot at the kennel, and the Fred was outside the building when we came out, and he wasn't there when we went in. We were only in there like 5 minutes, and there he was. And I said, "Oh, that looks like Fred." And this family that had adopted him, I told them the story of what I was feeling, and they said, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing, because we're gonna have to surrender him. It's not working. We have allergies and other dogs, and it's if you're still open to it, let's talk." So he was home with us by that afternoon. That's one of those things where you have to start following the synchronicities, the gut instincts, and let life lead you. And I tell you what, I'm not ready for a second dog in my house. They're fighting ridiculously. Hi, Athene. They're they're trying to establish their boundaries and bonds, and they're finally working it out. But I tell you, the first week was rough, and having another puppy, 7.5 months, he's about 35 pounds and got room to grow, which is really funny because, and I love this too, this parallel of you never know what the universe is going to bring you. His mother is a Chihuahua, and the Humane Society people would not have believed it if he wasn't actually birthed and born in that facility from a Chihuahua mother. And now he's a 35-pound, he looks like a Spaniel mix. He's on my timeline if you want to see him. He's absolutely darling, and his personality fits Fred. I would never pick to call a dog Fred, but it came with him, and it so fits him. So whoever named him was really tuned in, because his energy is all about this, just like Fred Flintstone, just clumsy, all over the place, and I love it because he fits right in, and I know he's done a couple more things to show me that he's my Sadie come back, who was my flat-coated retriever who passed probably about 2 years ago. So, yeah, I can post another picture on my timeline. He's just so precious. But, or maybe I can post it in these comments so you guys can see it directly. But anyway, so that's the story. So Fred came into our lives, and Fred and my cat do not get along. The other cat moved out because of the first dog. She definitely won't come back with a second dog. And now the second cat is being challenged, even though he and the other dog were really close friends. So when I tried to bring him in the house, he chomped my hand about 3 times as Fred was at the door and was really upset and freaked out about that. So I'm just watching it and putting some nice oregano and strong essential oils on to make sure that it's not getting infected, because apparently cat bites can have some complications because of the bacteria in their mouths. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. So any energy or prayers you guys want to send for that healing of it not being serious, always welcome. And of course doing some own healing work on myself. But as I was speaking before, if you are curious about working together and exploring what the dragons have for you, if you have a connection to dragons, I do dragon readings. They're 20 minutes. I do 75-minute one-on-one sessions to help move through stuff. Yes, I remember that, Nikki. And your Fred had a very good sense of humor, and he was trying to lighten you up. I remember that. So yes, and I knew there was a dragon out there. I'm glad you reminded me it was you, Nikki, because Fred is just a very funny name, and they do go along with characters. And yes, I don't know when there will be another Dragon Book Club scheduled, probably in the fall. I am just so enjoying that group, and we're 4 weeks in. We got 2 more left, and it's just really, really a profound group. But each group, the last group was too, in its own way. Each group has different energy. So if you're feeling called to it at the time, or if you know that you're interested in it for next time, please message me, because they're going to start, I have a feeling they're going to start selling out much faster. And so if you want to be on the first list to be notified as I schedule the next one, you would have a first chance at those slots. And we rock. That's right, Suzanne. The book club group rocks. And I have to say, so do the Dragon Hearts. The Dragon Heart group is astounding me every week too. The powerhouse of masters that are working in that is just incredible. I'm so blessed. I love my work. I love my job. I love that I am finally on my purpose, and really not afraid of it, because I came on today to start talking about a little bit about power, because it's connected to the womb space, and we talked about that another time. Maybe I'll talk about that again soon. But when you're really aligned with your purpose and you really know what you're here to do, every day is just a joy. And I gotta say, I am in joy with my groups, with my clients, and even doing these lives every week. I look forward to it, because I feel like there's something touching people. I feel like there's a purpose to me being here, and I feel like I have something really useful or helpful to share for those people that I am definitely a bridge. I've always known that, and that somehow I am here to pull that stuff out of you to help you get to your next place. And it brings me so much joy to do that. You have no idea. So thank you for all the well wishes with my hand. I'm not too worried, but it was quite painful, actually. I found myself going, oh. Wounds like that just don't happen very often. And we have a wonderful Thursday. I will see you guys next week. Love to you all, and I so appreciate you being here. I love my dragon family, and I just am so grateful. So we will see you next time. Bye.